Hi, Jerub.
Hello, Sarah.
Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us. I mean, what a barnstormer of a day to be sat outside in Hackney.
Beautiful, hottest day of the year. I'm in my shorts.
I understand you've just had your biggest headline tour announced. Was it yesterday?
Yes, literally
Pre-sale,
this week. Pre-sale.
already on.
People are buying tickets. I'm excited.
How does it feel, this moment right now?
Oh man, I feel like what a time to be alive. To be honest, I texted my manager yesterday actually, and he was telling me, he was kind of giving me an update on how many people bought tickets on the first day of pre-sale, and he told me the number, and I was like, what? Like, this amount of people have parted money to come see me in person. I was just a little bit like one of those surreal moments where you have to kind of be grateful. So yeah, I'm really excited about it.
The Wonder Years tour. Maybe you can just give us a bit of a backstory. Why that name? What does that kind of mean to you?
The tour's going to be my biggest one yet. So I've kind of had the privilege to like go across different parts of the world and play music, supporting other people, or be at a festival. And I'm really excited to go back to these cities, ones that I've been to before and loved, but also some new ones that to make new memories. And I guess Wonder Years for me is kind of like alluding to something to come. Maybe it's a project. The idea around that is sometimes I find it really hard to be present. And, I'm thinking about, maybe the Wonder Years are like the days gone by back in the day, when you were younger and things were easy and you didn't have any worries, or, fast forward into the future where maybe there wouldn't be any worries. But I guess the question is like, what if we can embrace the beautiful now and just being present to every moment? And I guess I'd love the tour to still ideate in the tour, but I'd love it to every show to just feel like just so present for everybody. I want everyone to feel that presence in the moment we share together.
And in terms of what fans have actually got in store, if they come and watch one of your gigs, is that something you're going to kind of work out the finer details of a bit later in the year in terms of set lists, any kind of surprises? What kind of music are you going to be, any new material going to be thrown in there?
Definitely some new stuff. Like I said, I'm working on a new project, which will probably come out before the tour, hopefully, fingers crossed. I'm excited to sing a bunch of new songs and for fans to just experience just a real presence. That's what I like. I'd love people to feel present. I'd love people to feel the raw emotion of these songs and the raw emotion that the project is going to bring, hopefully.
And in terms of some of the venues you're going to be hitting, are there any that you're most looking forward to? I mean, Nottingham's got to be up there, going to your hometown, but also going all across Europe. What are you most excited about?
Oh, I'm excited for all of them. I'm trying to remember all of them off the top of my head, and that would be amazing if I could, so I'm not going to try. But Nottingham, you spoke about Nottingham, but Nottingham for me is like my hometown, and Rescue Rooms is a venue that I've played a few times for support or a festival. I supported JP Cooper there, I supported Gang of Youths there. I've played a bunch of like Nottingham festivals there, but I've never done a headline there. So it's going to be a real surreal moment. I remember like 2020 or 2021, and I played a show there, like a festival, and I remember just being like, oh, I wonder if I could like do my own show here one day. And it was just such a pipe dream. So the fact that I'm coming back and I'm going to be there is just already a win.
And before you even get to your tour, you've got loads of festivals this summer. We were just talking before we started the interview about the likes of Mad Cool. Is that a completely different experience, do you think, as well, being on a big festival stage? Guess quite a different audience.
Yeah, I feel like I really enjoy festival stages because it's an opportunity, because not everyone's going to know your music. So it's like a really cool... it's a really cool opportunity to just kind of win people over, and you get new fans hopefully, and people like your music. So I'm really excited to go abroad, and going to Belgium, going to Madrid, going to Amsterdam this summer. So I'm really excited.
And to dig into a bit of your more recent music, new tracks, Deeper, maybe you could tell us a bit about how that one came about. What sort of instigated the concept for that, and how it's been received so far? Oh
man, Deep has been received so well. Like I keep getting messages like on a daily basis of people just like loving it, which is honestly the best. But it's so interesting. I started this one like a couple of years ago, maybe even just like a while back, and it was one of those random ideas that I just like put to the side. And the guys I started it with, we got in a room again like at the start of this year, and we just kind of came back to the idea, and really the song ended up shaping to be about, you know, I think for me, I have this tendency to want to fix things, you know. So when someone you love is going through a hard time, or someone's really struggling, I'm more of a fixer. I'm like, you know, you've got a headache, I'll give you paracetamol kind of vibe. But I think I'm learning that, you know, not everything can be fixed, and sometimes the best gift is to just be there and just to be present, and sometimes you can't fix it. So it's about being there in the messy times, and loving that person or those people deeply. So hence deeper.
Maybe taking a step back and thinking about, you know, how you got into music. And I know you were in Nigeria up until the age of 10, before moving here to the UK. Did you always know you wanted to go into music? Was there, you know, things in the influences of the music you were listening to in your formative years, have they shaped the sound that you have today?
Yeah, I feel like my sound is kind of shaped by everything. It's shaped by music, it's shaped by experiences, it's shaped by people. You know, some people have that, like, from the age of 5, they're like, I want to do music, this is my dream. I didn't have that, to be honest with you. I've always been quite vague, but like ambiguous, and not really knowing what I wanted to do with my life. But I think there's always been like a sense of like wanting to connect with people and, you know, help people in some way. And I kind of started singing in a choir when I was about 12 years old. I was in a band with my brother, like singing, rapping group. I can't rap, so I wasn't very good, but some of the other guys were good. And so those were the times where I kind of fell in love with music. And I wasn't really writing, I was just kind of singing. I fell in love with singing, and also just sharing an experience with people in a room, especially on a live stage. And it wasn't until I was maybe like 19, 20, where I kind of just started taking music seriously. I started writing, and I fell in love with it, and it felt like something that I couldn't live without. So I was just like, let's give it a go.
And, you know, if you're going to kind of pick out some more kind of specific, you know, styles of music that might have sort of gone in the mix, I mean, I guess maybe like Afrobeats and Christian gospel, you know, you might have had like in Nigeria, versus completely different maybe music influences when you then came here to Nottingham.
Sure. Yeah, like I exactly, like I grew up on Afrobeat. I remember sneaking into my dad's Jeep on a like hot day in Nigeria, because that's the only way I could listen to music. Me and my brother would kind of listen to these Afrobeat CDs, but also listen to Christian gospel music growing up, and like the impact of gospel music on your feeling and emotion, and the choir and these big voices definitely influenced like my sound. But it was like when I was like maybe 13, 14, 15, around like the young teenage years, I started listening to like Ed Sheeran, Adele, you know, those indie pop. I mean, back then it was kind of indie. Ed Sheeran was indie until now it's singer-songwriter pop, but back then it was indie stuff. And that's when I started to like play guitar. I was quite inspired to play guitar, and yeah, it's been that way ever since.
And you do seem to be, you know, operating in this space, you know, which sort of straddles pop, but also quite soulful vocals, you know, like the likes of Lewis Capaldi or Miles Smith or Teddy Swims. And do you sort of have that in mind even when you're writing? Because, you know, it comes from a very sort of personal place, but it's very emotive, and there's a universality to that, you know, that people can kind of connect to that and find their own way into their own emotions through listening to your music.
For me, like the connection, the real connection that you can have with music is just amazing. And whenever I'm writing, I'm in a session, or I'm just by myself in my house on my guitar or the piano, I'm thinking, how is this real? Is this authentic? But is this going to connect with people? And also, is this authentic to myself? And I think soul music definitely has that. And I listened to a lot of soul growing up, but I also listened to just as much pop. And a lot of pop music has that feeling as well. So I think more than ever before, it's like genre-less, which is great. And I don't really think about the genre as much as I think about the feeling.
And in terms of maybe some of those pivotal moments that have sort of put you where you are today, I guess being, you know, that 2021 BBC Live Lounge, introducing talent competition, you know, did you sort of know you were on the verge of something big when you went through that process? And, you know, the amazing feedback you got from that must have just been so vindicating of, I must be doing something right here.
as an artist, you spend most of the time between you're on the verge of something amazing and you suck. It's like, should I quit tomorrow? I remember being like I was in university when that happened. I was in my final year of my social work degree. I was on placement in a hospital working, and my song is like getting played on Radio 1, which was just like the most like juxtaposed thing. But it was one of those moments where I remember like applying for it thinking, I'm just applying because I can. Like I'm not expecting anything from this, and I got shortlisted for the top whatever, and then I get a phone call saying, yeah, you're in the top 5, you're the runner up, and I was like, what? Like out of 10,000 applicants, and it's one of those moments that really shapes your confidence, and I think everyone needs confidence on this music journey. You really can't do it without it, to be honest.
Then from that point, I guess 2 years ago, Elevate Music, working on your EPs. Did you already have kind of a lot of material sort of in your back pocket at that point? Was it something you sort of had to like fast forward? How did you kind of get to the point of having that music out?
Yeah, to be honest, I've always been writing. Writing is like, I love writing music, so I enjoy writing. So I'm always writing, even when there's no project coming out. Like I'm still writing because that's the joy of it. So I definitely had some material. I'd already released like one project independently. There was so much more to come, and I ended up writing so many more songs, and will continue to, hopefully.
And I guess it's not just knowing how big your fan base is now. Was it 65 million streams you've kind of amassed or something like that?
I'm not sure. Yeah, something like that.
You don't keep track of it every day. And then you've got people like Madonna praising your voice, Tom Grennan, Arlo Parks. I mean, is that something that you really look for kind of having that feedback? Or are you kind of more keeping focused on what you're doing, putting out the best music you can?
I think I'm probably more on the side of you just kind of get your head down, you do what you love, and you do it well, and you hope people connect with something that's authentic to you. However, I think everyone needs encouragement. Everyone needs people who are going to champion them on this music journey, and people like like Madonna and Tom Grennan and Arlo Parks, and just amazing people who would like my music or compliment my voice or my songs. It's so helpful for your confidence and spurring you on the journey of music.
And in terms of other highlights for you, I mean, opening the King's coronation with Pete Tong's orchestra must have been up there. What have been some of your highlights so far?
Oh, that's definitely one of those once in a lifetime moments that I'll probably tell my grandchildren when I'm old in a bed. I opened for the King once. That was amazing. I got to close out Children in Need, which was really, really cool with my own song, which was like really special. One of the most special moments, actually, if we're on the TV side of things, was Lenny Henry's kind of last comic relief, and singing like one of his favorite songs, "A Change Is Gonna Come." I remember just like really feeling the emotion, and for him also feeling that emotion. That was like one of those moments where I was just like, that's really special.
And in terms of, I don't know if you're someone that looks too much at the broader industry, how you see the landscape right now, because I guess for someone really, coming up in their career at this moment in time, perhaps you can say, well, actually with things like streaming, it's really opened up different paths into music. Like you don't have to sort of rely on getting signed, with a record label like you did in the past. Like maybe in terms of diversity and different routes into the industry, things have improved. But then other things maybe are more challenging than they were in the past. In terms, people aren't buying physical music anymore, records and things like that. So how do you kind of see the opportunities for artists like yourself right now?
The music landscape is really interesting because I think never before has there been such an opportunity for people to kind of make their own way, with the likes of TikTok and Instagram and just like being able to even build your own mailing list and control that and build your own fan base is, I think, one of those, I think artists definitely have a lot of autonomy. At the same time, like major labels still control a lot. So there is that landscape. I don't really think too much about it, to be honest with you. I don't like to get bogged down too much with things I can't control. So I just kind of control what I can control. But I think for me, I just try and, do what I can, whatever is in my hands to do.
And in terms of, where you see yourself in future, where do your ambitions lie? Is there some idol, whose footsteps you'd love to follow in? Is there other things on your bucket list you'd love to tick off? Perhaps Someone you'd love to perform with?
I always struggle with this question because I don't really think about it. I'm just like, I'm definitely like a one step at a time kind of guy. And kind of just, I just hope that things are going to happen and things are going to be good. But I think like one of the things on my bucket list is to kind of do my own tour, which I did last year, and kind of we'll do it again this year. But I am just so excited to just like keep taking it one step at a time and growing as my fan base grows and my music grows and I grow as a person.
Just to finish off, a little quick fire round.
Let's go.
Are you ready? Describe your sound in 3 words.
Raw, intimate, anthemic.
Best gig you've ever been to?
John Bellion in Birmingham.
Fave gig you've ever played?
Oh, my headline last year at Omira.
People you'd love to share a lineup with?
Oh, anybody like Ed Sheeran, Adele, Stormzy, Dave, John Bellion. Yeah, it's got loads.
First record you've ever bought? Maybe you're too young to answer.
As in like a vinyl or downloaded. I think, do you know what? I actually think it was Jake Isaac. Jake Isaac, like 2015, 14, 13 maybe. War Child. I think that was the name of the album.
First gig you ever went to?
I can't remember. I think it might have been JP Cooper in Bodega, Nottingham. I think so, but don't quote me, or do.
Number 1 idol, dead or alive?
Oh man, I don't actually have one. That's really bad, but I don't have one.
Up and coming artist you'd love to shout out?
There's an artist, and I don't think anybody knows who she is. Her name is Olo Runs, and she's actually a friend, but she's just got the most beautiful voice. And yeah, I think she's amazing.
Brilliant. Anything else you'd like to add?
Thank you. This has been fun.
Thank you so much for sharing all that with me. Cannot wait for your tour later in the year, and of course have fun with all your festivals this summer too.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.